So without further ado, please welcome your Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Ray Strand.
Well, thank you. It's really a pleasure to be here, and I just have to approach you with the fact that I'm a family physician. You know, I get into this, and I started out in medicine, just like every doctor you've ever gone to. I was a traditional physician. I was disease-oriented, and I was drug-oriented. I knew my drugs. I knew how to diagnose disease. I've been in practice for 44 years now. Wow. Now, I know I don't look that old. But I sad to say time flies. And the point is for half of that time, I just tried to do everything I could to get my patients off supplements. Because, why? They just create expensive urine. You know, you can get everything you need from your diet. That's what I was taught in medical school. And I really was pretty mean about it. And my patients who knew me before my conversion, after my wife's story, they knew that. But I was that disease care expert. I did OB for 21 years. I was in surgery. I treated my patients who had heart attacks, cancer patients, all of them. And what the greatest thing I ever started to appreciate was the fact that my patients always thought they would have their health. They never even thought about losing their health. But realize this, a physician's job each and every day is telling their patients that they have lost their health in one degree or another. Right. Maybe they became diabetic. Maybe they had rheumatoid arthritis. Maybe they had cancer. They had heart disease. I mean, that's all we did. We diagnosed disease. But I want you to know that I have transitioned to what I always wanted to be, and that's that healthcare expert. To teach people how they can better protect their health. You see, taking supplements is not about disease. It's about health. And we need to know that. We need to understand that. And that's where I'm going to take all of this wonderful knowledge of our quality products and make it practical for you. I don't want you to become a nutritional nut. You know, but I want you to understand what you're doing, just have some basic concepts that you can protect your health, because it is much easier, trust me, to protect your health than it is trying to regain it after you've lost it. Right. So what we realize as a physician, how you live your life will pretty much determine which disease I'll be treating later on in your life. Are you a smoker? How much do you drink? Do you exercise or not? How do you eat? Do you eat a healthy diet? Unhealthy? What's your environment like? Do you live in the city? Do you live out in the country? What are you exposed to? How much stress is in your life? You know, this is something that we do. Because we know, the studies show that diseases like heart disease, high blood pressure, cancer, diabetes, osteoporosis are pretty much directly related to your lifestyle, how you live. And what we need to know is the fact that the development of disease is silent. We have a lot of young people in the audience today. This is what I love about it. You know, there's a lot of things wasted on the youth, but energy is not one of them.
That's right, baby.
But how does it feel when your arteries begin to clog and get narrow? You know, how does it feel if you're developing early cancer? How does it feel if you're becoming diabetic or develop? You know what? You don't feel it. It's silent. And this is why you have to understand that we as physicians, we diagnose disease at its very end stage. Did you realize that you got the first sign of heart disease over a third of the time is sudden death? What? You don't know. You feel great. You're there. Boom. And the reason is because the plaque ruptures. That's what sets off the heart attack. And so you're feeling good. You don't even know there's a problem. Boom. The clot forms. You go into a heart rhythm problem, and you don't make it to the hospital over a third of the time. So you can't change lifestyle. You don't have any choice. People have been around. They've lost their friends. They didn't make it. That's the statistic. When we diagnose, every researcher out there now knows that cancers develop over decades. It doesn't develop. The most amazing thing, there's a study that came out in women when we do a lot of pap smears in our office. And they looked at women, because we could see it, that had early cancers. It hadn't spread yet. And they had literally followed them. By the time they developed cancer before it spread was 10 years. That's amazing. Well, the thing is, and then came out recommendations, you don't need to have your routine, pap smear every year, maybe every 3 years. And we fought because women would then not come in. But the point I'm trying to make is we all know it takes decades to develop. By the time we diagnose cancer, it's usually too late.
Right.
My mother had a brain tumor. And we diagnosed him just one day. I called her up and she couldn't talk to me. She'd lost her speech. We found out it was this grade 4 glioma, much like Senator Ted Kennedy. And so what happened is she lived 6 months. It was too late. The radiation therapist came into her and said, we can do radiation on your brain and on this tumor. And she asked, well, what's the chance it's going to extend my life? And he said, less than 1%. But that's medicine. That's traditional medicine. That's what they do. And that's acceptable. So what we talk about. But the key thing is things like Parkinson's disease. I don't know if you see Muhammad Ali just passed away. And he suffered this for 20 years. But even Michael J. Fox. I saw him, David Letterman, and when he was being interviewed, he got Parkinson's, diagnosed when he was 33 years old. But the day we diagnosed him with Parkinson's, 80% of the brain cells involved in that part of the brain have already been destroyed. That's why they take medicine, for a few years and they're a little better. But then, did you see Muhammad Ali? And what he struggled with? President Ronald Reagan. He lived to 93, almost 94. But he suffered from Alzheimer's dementia. So it's quality of life. For 10 years, he hadn't recognized his family, his wife, or his loved ones before he died. But by the time we diagnose someone with Alzheimer's, 80% of the brain cells are already gone. It's too late. So, so what happens is individuals feel great. And they struggle, they go through life thinking, well, I'm always going to be healthy. I don't feel anything. I feel good. I feel anything. Trust me, folks, you don't feel it. Then what happens? But what happens is, chronic degenerative diseases is the result of very small changes that occur over a prolonged period of time. Why is that important? Well, the reason that's important, it allows you and I to literally become proactive in protecting our health. It gives us a chance, it gives us an opportunity to actually protect our health. This is what we're in, this is what we're all about. We are out seeking people who want to become more proactive in protecting their health. But as they've told you, there's a lot of stories, there's a lot of garbage out, there's a lot of information out. Everybody is telling you something. Who do you trust?
Right.
See, that's why the collaboration, what we're doing in ARIIX, is bringing the experts together so that we, as a community, are sharing with you the truth of this is what I'm going to do. So if you as an individual decide, I'm going to spend more time, more effort, and more money to protect my health, I want to be sure what I'm doing is clinically effective. That's where I come in. It's practical to understand a little bit of science and then go on with life. You take this in the morning, you take this at night, you eat healthy, have a modest exercise program. This is what we need to do. So, what we understand, very simply, is that you and I are rusting inside. Oxygen, even though it's necessary for life, it also is dangerous for our existence. As we utilize oxygen to create energy and life itself, we occasionally create a cellular exhaust, which can damage our health and cause us to literally rust inside. So the same process that turns a cut apple brown or rust metal is rusting you and I inside. Now I want to do a mind picture. Think about this. Just look at the skin of a newborn baby. Look at the skin of a 2 or 3-year-old child. Look at them at 8 or 9. Then you start looking at them at 40, at 50. Then you start looking at people that are getting my age and all that. That's oxidative stress. That's the skin. We can see it on the outside, but we don't appreciate it in the inside. So the next time you see that, that's oxidative stress. So this, next slide. So the medical literature, when I study this is what I've done, folks. I'm not telling you you need this, just trust me. The medical literature has shown beyond a shadow of doubt that over 100 of the chronic degenerative diseases you and I want to avoid are the net result, the root cause is this oxidative process. And so disease like heart disease, cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, lupus, scleroderma, macular degeneration, all of these have been shown that the root cause is oxidative stress. So, but here's the thing, antioxidants and their supporting nutrients are the key.
Yep. Right.
In other words, antioxidants have the ability to render that free radical, which has actually a charged oxygen molecule, that if it's not really neutralized by an antioxidant, it can go on to damage the cell wall, the vessel wall, proteins, fats, and even the DNA nucleus of the cell. So antioxidants are actually the antidote. But here it is the same thing. We talk about look at your car. If you don't take care of it, eventually or over time, it rusts.
Right.
But antioxidants, like putting that fresh coat of paint on and protecting the body, or as far as this goes, but here is the key, balance. You must have enough antioxidants in body to handle the number of free radicals you're producing. And we have now heard from Deanna, that our food does not give us enough anymore. We need optimal or advanced levels, those levels that have been shown in our medical literature to provide a health benefit. It is not the amount you can get in a diet anymore. So, this is why we must supplement. But antioxidants help prevent this oxidative stress. Now, I am part of ARIIX because of my knowledge of the science, of the medical literature. But I needed to know the quality of the products and the manufacturing, and I reviewed all that. And we've heard about it, and we're not going to talk about everything in Nutrify is basically so you can have the best chance of protecting your health and becoming proactive. So I, as a physician, I always like doing this with my patients. They don't have to worry about, I need to take this and this, and I heard selenium was good. No, I better go have some magnesium. Now vitamin D is good. I better go get some vitamin D. You know what? They've done it all for you and for me and my patients. It's simple. I don't like it hard. This is what the quality's there. We know that. You want to have. We got some people here who have Lamborghinis and but you can have a Lamborghini inside. You all can afford one. You all can afford it. It's losing your health is expensive.
Yes.
You want having the optimals be expensive or anything? No way. I've been there. Folks, how would you like to be Steve Jobs? And, when he found out he had pancreatic cancer, he had all the money in the world. Trust me, he'd have given it all not to have it, to have his health back. It's once you lose your health, it's not a fun trip. Just think about a lady who comes up and she's just been, I had diagnosed with breast cancer. She's got a okay, now she's got to go through a surgery. She's got to take out the lymph nodes. She's got to go through that. Then they find out it's spread to the lymph nodes. Oh, by the way, you got to go through 6 months of hard chemotherapy. She goes through chemotherapy. She goes through this, just praying that she, that she has a good response. She loses her hair. She's spreading, she's sick. She's throwing up. Her life is just turned upside down. She didn't know anything about this a month before. This is what this is what you see. You have friends that go through it. And unless you go through it, unless you lose your health, you don't appreciate how important your health is. That's what we're talking about. And we'll skip this slide. We've just talked all about this. But I want to just share a little bit how these products are put together and what I, as a physician, use it all the time in my practice. First of all, the optimals have put everything together for you. I study individual studies, and that's the way we do our studies. Vitamin D, we'll do one on vitamin C, on grapeseed, on magnesium, on this. That's the way we do our studies. But trust me, vitamin E is not a drug, it's a nutrient we get from our food. But because we can supplement now, you can get them at levels you can't obtain from our food. But at levels that have been shown in our medical literature to provide a health benefit. Well, I want my patients to get that vitamin E benefit, but there's benefits over here from vitamin D. And vitamin D3 is the best. We've gone through that. But, so what do patients do? They sit there, and my wife and I try to do this, go put it together ourselves. Go down to Costco and that, and we came home with 38 bottles. Cost us $450. Wow. And you'd have to take 45 pills morning and night to get that. Folks, we got it. It's there. So what it is that this has been designed to provide the cellular nutrition I write about in my books. What is cellular nutrition? It's providing all these essential nutrients, getting all the health benefits that's in our worldwide medical literature, third-party clinical trials, double-blind studies, everybody. That has shown a health benefit, but it's these advanced optimal levels. But they're safe levels. These are not deep. So this is what you take 3, optimal D2, optimal N, morning and night with food, and you go on with life. Because hey, I got it. I figured this thing out. I wasn't too hard with it. That's it. Next slide. We have over 25 different antioxidants. And we talk about cost. A previous company I worked for, we tried to get in grapeseed extract, or alpha-lipoic acid, or resveratrol. And all we got was, yeah, they're really good, but man, they're expensive. We can't put them in. They're cost too much. See, ARIIX is not worried about cost. They're worried about your health. That's the most precious thing you have. Trust me. Now you're getting financial help. This group knows you've got financial help. I hear, but you can also have your optimal health, and you can protect it. There are a lot of companies. I've actually been asked to talk for some companies here and there. A lot of the partners don't even know this, but they called me because I worked for a company and they wanted, they had a juice, but they had one nutrient in the juice. And they wanted me to speak and do some audio tapes, and that made me well. No, I wouldn't do that. But they found all of these juices, they usually have one actual juice or fruit or whatever, and then they make all these claims. I mean, you take this and you'll live forever. You do that. It's just fun. So when ARIIX challenges, Deanna here, she's my superstar. She has really, when she does something, it is the mother of all. Over 23 different nutrients. It's not just one man. Put them together. We're talking about balance, right? Yeah. You want to have enough antioxidants on board to handle the number of free radicals, whether you live in LA, San Diego, or Rapid City, South Dakota, where we don't have much free. But anyway, I just don't have time to go through each one. Every one of those nutrients, there's a health benefit. So which one do you want? I want my patients to have them all. I'm just going to tell you, pomegranate. Pomegranate has been studied. And this is a pomegranate extract. It's in your juice. It's solid. There are studies showing people who take pomegranate juice and take it, their arteries, the heart of the arteries start to open. This has been studied through angiography. You it just that one nutrient. And you can go on to aloe vera, acai berry. I mean, all of these have, they're not only antioxidants, but there's tremendous health benefits. So when ARIIX put this together, next slide, instead of eating all of this food, which you know, nobody, you can't, that's what you have to take every day to get what's in MOA. Just take a shot of MOA. How long did that take? Pretty simple, right? Right. You know, do you need to know the science? No, not really. You just need to know the company. You need to know ARIIX, you need to know what you're doing, and realize this is something I'm going to do. It can be added, and I'll show you to MOA. I call them Batman and Robin. You know, they work together. The optimals are great. They give you the minerals, which the MOA doesn't, but MOA gives you more antioxidants, which the optimals don't have. If they work together, you get better results. Right. Then they put together omega Q. And omega Q is one. We know that fish oil is great. I mean, there are so many studies. There's thousands of studies that show this. But what happens with fish is they usually use larger fish that are contaminated with heavy metals. I had a friend that loved tuna. And he called me up. He said, oh, he's a very good friend, a good golfing buddy. And he just was getting tuna, and he was starting to have aching in his arm, a little weakness and all that. And I said, how much tuna do you eat? And he said, well, I eat quite a bit, about 3 or 4 times a week. I said, go in and get your lead levels. He did. And he would have lead poisoning. And trust me, that's what, so companies that use larger fish to get their fish oil, go ahead and they turn around and they've got to take it, and they've got to use a petroleum solvent to get those heavy metals out of there. We all know they're toxic, but they always leave a residue. So what does Deanna do? Deanna goes out and finds the one company that uses smaller fish, anchovy, sardines, that are in the bottom of the food chain. They're not, you know, yes, they got some, but not much. And then this allows this company to purify them with a natural, non-petroleum solvent process. And we have the best. And I'll never forget early on, as the company grows, everybody, we ran out of our raw product. We didn't make enough omega Q. So what happened is they wanted to go to other sources. No, Deanna said, you're not going to other sources. And that was the first time I was really impressed with Deanna. I said, she's my lady, boy. I'll tell you, that's what it is. That's what we've got to have confidence. And you've got to know that what we're doing. But Deanna, we suffered a lot. We got some bad PR from that. Next slide. But it also, one thing I know about ARIIX is they put things together. I'm not talking about pure nourish, but we put everything in there. But here's omega Q. Has that CoQ10 that I talk so much about it. And for the average person that doesn't have any problem, you know, jeepers, take this and we take some CoQ10. We know all of the benefits of CoQ10. And it's all the manufacturing thing. But CoQ10 is critical for the energy production in each and every cell, but especially the high energy production cells, the heart, the brain, and our immune system. Magna-Cal D. Yes. Now, Magna-Cal D, Deanna and I, we struggled with this because we started developing Magna-Cal D. And we knew we wanted a magnesium calcium because people are deficient in calcium. It's very, very important. But the problem was, right in the middle of this, a big study comes out. Go back, comes out from Europe showing that people are taking calcium in supplementation alone or not in balance. And the problem is the fact that this can actually increase your risk of heart attack. Well, ARIIX, we sat down and said, the last thing we want to do is create a product that's going to be harmful to anybody. I mean, why do that? But we knew we did it. So we went to the medical literature, and we found there's some key things. Magnesium has to be added to the calcium They must be highly absorbable because they need to come into the body, you know, in that balanced form. It's key. So many companies use calcium, you know, carbonate, which is cheap and small. Right. But the trouble is, we have trouble absorbing that depending on the amount of acid and food in your stomach. Yep. Second of all, they'll put in magnesium oxide. And there are studies that show that we only absorb between 4 and 10% of that. So it's not just the balance, but that they're all highly absorbable. But here's the other thing. If you don't have enough vitamin D, it doesn't matter how much calcium you take, you're not going to be able to absorb it. Right. How many years I practiced medicine, and we just put people, I used to tell people to take Tums. You know what I mean? That's, trust me, and I see that. But you know, that's why I wrote my book, What Your Doctor Doesn't Know About Nutritional Medicine. I knew nothing. I knew nothing. I was not trained in nutrition. I didn't know anything. And I had to learn it on my own. I knew my drugs. I knew my diseases. But I didn't know much about nutritional medicine. So what happens is, we would treat these people with osteoporosis with, you know, take Tums, take this, take that. And oh, that's cheap, take that. Just take the cheapest. I didn't realize that you need vitamin D. If you don't have vitamin D, and that 90+% of the population in the U.S. is deficient in vitamin D. Studies started to come out in the Journal of Medicine. I started reading it in '98. It just has become more and more. But here's, so we put 2,000 IUs of vitamin D, 3, the most active form, in 90-cal D. Other companies I was with, they make you buy the calcium ID. Well, then over here you go buy the vitamin D, just like you get the fish oil here, you get the protein here. This is where it is. But that is critical. The other thing is that we realized is you need vitamin K2, not vitamin K1. Vitamin K2 is like a traffic cop. Yep. It attracts the calcium into the bone where you want it, but it stimulates enzymes and proteins that block it from entering your arteries. That is key, folks. Wow. And then we put in others. But 18 years to develop, or 18 months, 18 months to develop this unique formula. But you know what? That's why we take a lot of, you know, heat, but that's what it is. But it's for your health. We understand the medical literature. Everybody we work with, the scientists. Next. Now, this is my favorite.
Yes.
Nutrient. I'll tell you the health benefits I've seen in my patients taking Denali is phenomenal, and grapeseed extract. But again, Deanna explained very clearly, we get the best grapeseed extract.
Yep.
The second best is half the cost. The second best. Wow. Can you imagine? There are 200 different companies that make grapeseed extract. I mean, when it gets down there, and that's why I write my books. My publisher wants me to write them generic. I can't talk about a specific product, because if I do, they think I'm selling a product and not a health concept. And so I have to write everything generically. And people write to me, oh, Dr. Strand, I follow what you say in the book. And I didn't see any benefits. Well, they go down and take it because I can't tell them what to take. But that's why I'm here. That's why I'm with this company, because I know the quality. I know where they get it. My previous company that I worked for, I was on the medical advisory board from the beginning. They would never tell me where they got the raw product. Wow. It was, oh, that's a trade secret. Well, that sounds good. We believed it. We drank the Kool-Aid. But the problem was, Fred like that. But the problem was, they could change it at any time. No one knows. We wouldn't know. And trust me, I think they have. But they have. But what happens is, grapeseed extract, just from a medical standpoint, it is a natural anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It's a natural anti-allergen. I take patients, my children that come in that have asthma, hay fever, all that. I get the mothers to say, you start this. And again, you'll know that I believe in 6 months minimum. If I start in the fall, you're going to be better in the spring. If I start in the spring, you're better in the fall. It takes time. Nutritional medicine is not like treating a strep throat. Give you a penicillin, you're better in 2 or 3 days. It takes time, but it's a lifestyle, folks.
That's right.
But this is amazing. But the other thing that it's amazing, it readily crosses the blood-brain barrier and gets into the fluid around the brain, the eyes, and nerves. Now, you take antihistamines, you know, you take Benadryl and you're all groggy. Well, why are you? Because it crosses the blood-brain barrier. You go out and take Claritin, You know, that's the one that doesn't make you drowsy. It doesn't cause it. Do you understand? So, but we want the antioxidants in around the brain and nerves. It protects, you know, we talk Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, macular degeneration. We talk about all of these things. Trust me. This is, when I was 40, how long ago? About 45, 46, I had heavy floaters. I went into my ophthalmologist and they told me they thought I had early macular degeneration. It wasn't long after I started taking grape seed, and now I take my vision improved. It was amazing. Their studies are showing. But my doctors followed me for over 20 years. He looks at everything and says, I can't see any evidence. It's just not advancing. Trust me, it scared me back then, but it's prevention. Much easier. But this is a tremendous nutrient. It is something I add, but you know what? You take the optimals, you're getting 100 milligrams in it. I mean, so you're getting all this, but some people want a little more. That's why it's separate. Next slide. This one is, this is unbelievable. CoQ10. And trust me, CoQ10 is probably one of the medical is the most potent optimizer, enhancer of the immune system. In other words, your immune system is your great protector. But CoQ10 is literally responsible for over 90% of the production of energy within each and every cell. But you get high energy cells, like the heart, it's beating all the time, the brain, the immune system. It is essential for your health. I have used CoQ10 in my practice in my cancer patients to help build up their immune system. I've used it in heart failure patients to build up the strength of their heart. I've used it in just anybody that has had any neurodegenerative disease. It's an amazing nutrient. Next slide. But CoQ10 is very hard to absorb. And the problem is that Japan has made most of this. Konica is the leader in CoQ10 manufacturing, and they have made it better and better. But a few years ago, they actually went from the oxidized form, which is called ubiquinol, and they developed the active, natural form, which is ubiquinol. And they found out if you take the ubiquinol, it's absorbed 5 to 10 times greater than the ubiquinol form. Well, in my practice, my medical practice, especially my cancer patient, heart failure patients, I draw blood CoQ10 levels. And I'm aware of, because there's certain levels I want to get in my patients. Using the ubiquinol form in my previous company, I would literally have to give them 12 to 15 or 16 of the capsules to get the levels I wanted. Well, my patients can afford it. So I kept telling them, you've got to go to the ubiquinol form. It is the greatest advancement in CoQ10 therapy or in supplementation in the last half century. We're not going to do it. And I said, why? I said, it's too expensive. We're not going to change. They weren't. I said, are you kidding me? I see it. I know what it is. So when ARIIX came up, and they said, what form should we put in? When they consulted me in our standalone CoQ10 product, I said, use the ubiquinol.
Nice. There we go.
That's what we're going to do. Nice. Not only that, the end goes out, it goes to the best company. Come. That's the way we do it. But then I get to see the results. You know, I see them, and I can't, you know, you got to understand, nutritional medicine is about health. It's not about disease.
Yep. Right.
When I give people supplements, I'm really, and recommend, I'm trying to build up their body's natural defenses because it is the best defense against this process called oxidative stress, and not the drugs I can prescribe. We're going at the core, the heart of disease itself. People need to understand at least that part. And so CoQ10 is very, very critical, but I'll tell you, I only need to use 2 BioPro-Q to get the blood level. I was trying to get with 14 to 16 of brand X.
Talk about it.
Now, we can afford that. So, the BioPro-Q is too expensive. That is, I'm sure, your favorite product. I can understand. If you has all this energy, why do you need more? This is the healthy alternative. Healthy alternative, you know, to energy drinks, and we just saw what it contains. Next slide. No, go back. I want to share a little bit.
Yeah.
Rejuvenex is natural right now in medicine. I just read a report that our ER visits are up over 1,000% because of energy drink. 1,000% because they're getting heart rhythm problems. They're going in with cardiac arrhythmias going in. And so this is key. This is the healthy alternative. And that's what you want to know. Made the same way, and it does work, folks. And I use it when I want to be more alert and focused. I'm a private pilot. Every time I take a couple before I fly because it makes me more alert, and I think it's saving my life. I'm going to Restorex to me is a detox center. It's a detox center in the bottom. It's the other side of the coin when it comes to balance. Remember, on one side we make all these free radicals, and we have to handle more free radicals because of our polluted environment, our stressful lifestyles, and over-medicated society. But this gives us a chance. Now, we don't have to go to a detox center and spend $10,000, $15,000 a week. You can do this in the comfort of your home. It's a zeolite, a powerful heavy metal remover. It contains spirulina, chlorella, other very important detox nutrients, and it removes both heavy metals and toxins from the body. But as you get rid of those toxins, it holds onto them, gets them out. But also, what happens is that you turn around and you have less free radicals you have to deal with. So that is what is very critical, and I use it next time. So we talk about first step therapy. I'm going to go through this very quickly here. We're just finishing. Nutrify believes giving you the first step to therapy to try to improve your health if you begin to lose it, or protect it. But patients who come into my office that have early high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol, early diabetes, heart disease, the medical community says you should be giving these patients a trial of healthy lifestyles as the first step to therapy before you start prescribing medication. That's Nutrify. That's our brand. That's what we do. We give people a choice. It is well supported by the medical community. Next slide. But first step therapy is not just taking supplements. We want to learn to eat a healthy diet that has those low glycemic carbohydrates, the good fats, the good protein. You need to have a modest exercise program, but nutritional supplement is part of a healthy lifestyle. It's not something you do this month and not. It's just part of a healthy lifestyle. Right. That's what we're here about. We're about health. You're in the health and wellness business. Right. You need to know your products are good. You need to know that you're accomplishing something. And people are. This is their health insurance. It's not their disease insurance. Next slide. So I believe, very quickly, my approach, I want all my patients taking cellular nutrition. Folks, even if you're 20 years old, we know the process is starting. You're protecting. You don't want to have oxidative stress. It doesn't matter. It's silent. You're not going to figure it out. By the time that you realize it, it's too late. So I want them at least on the ARIIX optimals. But I would like to also add MOA. I like Magnicel D and Omega Q as a baseline for anybody. But now when I have people that are struggling with certain problems, I may add BioPro Q or Vanade. Rejuvenex is something that is strictly, it is for energy, but it's a healthy energy alternative. Restorex is a detox that you take. Next slide. So, I want you, my website is raystrand.com. The only reason I want you to look at it is for the next slide. Is we have written an ebook that just gives 5 basic principles and health concepts. And it takes you less than maybe an hour to read, hour and a half. Very simple. But it gives everybody just some knowledge without overwhelming you to why we're doing what we're doing. And it's free. Just download it. It's a PDF file. It's yours. Keep it. Share with anybody you want. That's what we want. So thank you. And thank you for your time and your